everyone. My name's Sophia Rivera. I'm a graduating senior and I have been at LVA since 7th grade. I'm making this video to um, make your high school transition, your middle school to high school transition as smooth as possible. So I'm going to be answering some questions that are frequently asked. The first one is, are we ever going to see our teachers from 8th grade? Um, this one kind of depends more on you. So if you go and seek out your 8th grade teachers, yes, you will see them. You can go into their hallway during homeroom, or if you have a study hall, and say hi, drop by, ask them for help if you need them because they're always there for you. But as when it comes to going to classes, you won't really ever see them because they're in a different wing. So, yes, you can see them, but it's not going to be as much as you would probably think. Next is, will there be rewards like the end of quarter or end of quarter rewards in junior high school? Yes, they're called pep rallies, which are super fun. There's four of them, so one for each quarter. It all depends on like your grade and your discipline, like your behavior during the school year. So you can't have more than like three write ups. So if you want to go, be on your best behavior and get good grades. Pep rallies are super fun. Like our first ones are always the basketball game right before homecoming, so that's super cool. And the rest are usually super different. One year we had Olympics, which was super fun, and sometimes we go outside. And at the end of the year, there's a carnival, which is really fun. And then the third one is there any free time? This kind of depends on the person and your schedule. In the mornings, you will have homeroom, which is when you get to school, you can have breakfast, you can finish all your homework if you need. That is probably the most free time you'll get, unless you have a study hall, which is when you'll probably have the most free time. It's the whole block. If you're not double majored or anything like that, you'll be able to have a study hall, and that'll be your free time. But other than that, there's really not much free time during the school day. You have all your classes and you have your lunch, and yeah, most of your free time goes from homeroom and study hall, and then when you get home. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I really want your middle school to high school transition to be as smooth as possible. So good luck.
Hi, my name is Alexia. I've been at LVA since kindergarten, so all my life, and I'm a senior graduating this year, and I'm going to answer some questions about the transition between 8th grade to ninth grade. One of the questions I personally get asked a lot and what I'm most interested in are what are the clubs offered here at LVA? So some of the clubs we have are Minithon, Student Council, National Honor Society, Science Honor Society, Art Honor Society, Math Club, and even opportunities to work in the school store. And let me tell you, you seriously want to get involved in as much as you can. These clubs are so much fun, and the projects that you do are just, they're so much fun. From my experience, I every single day would go to my homeroom teacher and tell her I have to go to a different club. Every morning I was going somewhere else because I was involved in almost everything, and it was really a great time. Um, Another question people often wonder are, am I going to have enough time to complete my assignments by next class? So we do not have the same classes every single day. So one class that you have on Monday, you'll then have it on Wednesday and Friday. So this allows 2 days for you to get your homework, and you are offered a study hall, which you should use every minute of. It's seriously great, and it's going to save you so much time. If you fell asleep early the night before, like you just didn't have time at home to do it, use your study hall wisely. It'll take you far. It'll save your life. And lastly, the most commonly asked question is, are we finally allowed to use the microwaves? And the answer is yes. Once you hit ninth grade and you're in high school, you are allowed to use the microwaves. You are allowed to heat up your food. The lines do get pretty long, so try to get to lunch as soon as you can. And yeah, I just hope ninth grade is everything you imagined and more.
Hi, my name is Emma Ambrose. I'm a 10th grader at LVA and I have been here since 4th grade. Basically, I'm going to be answering three questions you might have about high school. Okay, let's get started. So the first question is, what time do you have lunch? So as a ninth grader, you'll have lunch from 11:45 to 12:15. But if you don't know what time your lunch is or you forget or anything, there's bell schedules in all of the classrooms. So you can just look at the schedule and see what time your grade has lunch or any other grade. The second question is what are the field trips in high school? So, if you're a ninth grader, you're going to go on a trip to DeSales to see a play, and then you'll have lunch at Red Robin, and then you can walk around the promenade shops with your friends for whatever time you have left. In 10th grade, you go on a trip to Boston, so you'll stay overnight, 2 days, and it's a 3 day trip, and it's going to be super fun, and you'll go to museums and all that kind of cool stuff. There isn't really a field trip for 11th grade, but once you get into 12th grade, you get to go on the senior trip, and that's when the seniors can plan their own field trip. Since you're seniors, it's kind of like a reward. It's pretty cool. Finally, I'm going to answer the last question. What's the difference between DP and CP? So DP stands for Diploma Program, and CP stands for Career Program. So once you're in 11th grade, you get to choose whether you want to do DP or CP. DP is more of standard classes, and CP is more of if you want to be like an engineer, doctor, or nurse, or that kind of thing when you grow up. So it'll give you more classes designed for that kind of job, whereas DP will just give you your standard classes and less specified like maths and sciences and that kind of thing.
I'm Ryan McNeal. I'm in 10th grade and I've been going to LVA since 5th grade. So, how can I best manage my time to not get overwhelmed? Well, when I first got into 9th grade, I made it my duty that I never had homework when I got home. How did I do this? After class, the teacher always gives you time to work on your schoolwork, study hall. Also, I use that all the time, and my career class. After we were learning about our career, I just popped out some schoolwork, and that's how I managed my time to not get overwhelmed. So, what is the hardest thing about high school? I'd say it's two things: trying to fit in and trying to balance school, whether you have a job or whether you play a sport. Those are the two things I feel like are the hardest thing when you get into high school. If you're trying to fit in, I'd say just be yourself. There's always someone for you in this world, so just be yourself at the end of the day. And what I said before, managing your time and trying to get your stuff for school done inside school. You get study hall. Yes, you get study hall, and there will be a few other grades inside of it, but still, I had a couple friends, and it was just a place for me to get my work done, so yes, you will have study hall.
Hi everyone, my name is Kyle Ambrose. I'm in 10th grade and I'm here to answer some of your guys' questions about high school. So the first question I have is whether you go into NHS right away or if you just continue on with NJHS. So your first year of high school, if you're already in the club, you will just continue on with NJHS. Although if you're not in the club and you are eligible, you can apply to be in it about halfway through the year. But it is something to keep in mind that NJHS does end at the end of your freshman year. So once you're in 10th grade, you can be eligible for NHS. About halfway through the year, again, if you're eligible, you will get an application, and if you fill it out and you are accepted, of course you're in the club. But if you're not eligible your 10th grade year, don't worry because you can still join your 11th and 12th grade years, so it's something to work up to if you really want to do it and you're not eligible right away. The second question is good tips for high school. My biggest tip is time management. The workload is a bit heavier than in middle school, so taking the time that your teachers may give you in class to do your work is super, super helpful, as well as taking the time in study halls to do your work, especially if you have after school activities or if you leave early for sports or things like that. You want to make sure that you don't fall behind because the work still comes even if you're trying to catch up. The last question I have is regarding double majoring, specifically with design tech and band. First off, I am taking design tech, and it is one of my favorite classes. I've taken it since my freshman year, and I will be taking it in DP. So if you're in the class, it's definitely something to look forward to. Now, with double majoring, it is important to note that you do not get a study hall at all. Since you are taking an extra class, the time given for the study hall is used up. So it is something to kind of think about. I personally was going to double major, but with leaving early for sports, I decided that it would be a bit too much for me. Of course, it is completely your choice, and you have to decide what is better for you. But if you're extremely passionate about both things and you have the time and the means to do it, then I would definitely recommend it. That's all I got for you guys. I really hope this helped. High school isn't scary, I promise. It's so much fun. And hopefully see you guys next year. Bye.
Hi, I'm Isha. I'm currently a sophomore at LVA and I've been here since 4th grade. One of the questions that was asked was, what is the annex? An annex is the building outside. It's just an extra space where there are classrooms. You'll usually have maybe 2 to 3 classes there per day. It depends on the teacher that you have and what classes you're taking. So there could be like a math class in the annex. There could be a language class in the annex. It's just an extra space for classrooms. Another question that was asked was, how hard is it compared to 8th grade? So obviously it is going to get a bit harder since it is high school, but LVA has a good program, not program, it's a class. It's called Freshman Seminar, and it's mandatory for every freshman to take. And the class is good because it teaches you how to properly time manage and do your work, teaches you how to balance your schoolwork and stuff outside of school. And overall, the workload itself, it's not as different as it was in 8th grade from when I remember, but as long as you stay on top of your work and you're very consistent, you'll be perfectly okay. And another question that was asked was, can we bring our own laptops in 9th grade? Yes, you can bring your own laptops in. You just have to fill out a form that states that you're bringing a device from home, and then as soon as you have it filled out, you can bring it. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Gerren Tung and I'm in 10th grade. I've been at LVA since 4th, so it's been about 7-ish years. I'm here to answer some questions that you guys may have about high school. For starters, do we get to carry around textbooks? Throughout the past 2 years of high school, I haven't had to carry around a textbook. Most of the work is done online through our computers, but if there ever is a case where we do need to do work from our textbooks, the teachers will most likely have a class set available for all students. Second, do we get to go off campus for lunch? No. Third, how do I know who my student counselor will be? In senior high, we have 2 student counselors, Miss Booth and Miss Del Rosa. If your last name begins with A through L, you'll have Miss Del Rosa, but if your last name begins with M through Z, you'll have Miss Booth.